we're here to dive deeply into the horror story The Witch's Spell. Many believe a powerful witch cursed an entire village with an evil spell. Join us as we unravel the mysteries of this dark tale and uncover the truth at its core. Hit the like button and subscribe if you're ready to be scared. Remember to turn on subtitles for a better experience. Once upon a time, in a small village lived a woman known as the witch. The villagers were terrified of her, for she was believed capable of casting evil spells and curses. Some even claimed that they had seen her talking to the devil himself. One night, a group of young people gathered around a bonfire in the forest, daring each other to go and see the witch's hut. They laughed and joked, not believing the tales they had heard about her. Finally, one of them, a brave young man named Jack, decided to go. He walked through the dark woods, his heart pounding with fear. When he finally reached the hut, he saw the witch stirring a cauldron of bubbling liquid. Jack watched in horror as she chanted an incantation, calling forth the powers of darkness. Suddenly, the witch turned and saw him standing there. Her eyes glowed red, and Jack knew he had made a terrible mistake. He turned and ran as fast as he could, but the witch was right behind him, chasing him through the woods. He stumbled and fell, and the witch caught up to him. She cackled with glee as she grabbed him by the hair, pulling him back towards her hut. Jack screamed for help, but no one was there to hear him. The witch dragged Jack inside her hut, where she began to cast her spell. Jack tried to fight her off, but she was too strong. He watched in terror as she mixed strange ingredients into her cauldron, muttering ancient words that made his blood run cold. Suddenly, the room filled with a blinding light, and Jack felt a surge of power run through his body. He screamed in agony as the witch's spell took hold of him, twisting his mind and body until he was no longer human. When the light faded, Jack had been transformed into a creature of the night, a witch servant who could never escape her grasp. He was doomed to do her bidding, forever trapped in a nightmare of darkness and despair. Years passed, and the villagers began to forget about Jack and the witch's curse. But every so often, on a moonless night, they would hear the sound of a howling creature roaming the woods in search of prey. And some say that if you listen carefully, you can still hear the witch's laughter echoing through the trees, a reminder of the horrors that lurk in the darkness, waiting to trap the unwary. Despite the villagers' attempts to forget about the witch and Jack, there were still those who feared the curse and the witchcraft rumored to reside in the forest. They warned their children to stay away from the woods and to never venture out at night, lest they fall prey to the witch's spell. But there were always those who were curious, who wanted to know more about the witch and her powers. They would sneak out at night, trying to catch a glimpse of the hut or the cursed creature that roamed the woods. One such night, a young woman named Sarah was drawn to the woods, compelled by an unknown force. As she walked through the dark trees, she heard the sound of footsteps behind her, but when she turned around, there was no one there. She continued until she reached the clearing where the witch's hut stood. The moon was full, casting an eerie glow over everything. Sarah shuddered, feeling as though she was being watched. Suddenly, she heard a rustling in the bushes, and a figure emerged from the darkness. It was Jack, the cursed creature the witch had created all those years ago. He lunged at her, but Sarah managed to dodge his grasp. She ran as fast as she could, but Jack was behind her. She could hear his ragged breathing and his claws scraping against the ground. Finally, Sarah stumbled and fell, and Jack caught up to her. He reached out his hand to grab her, but she held up a crucifix and recited a prayer. Jack recoiled in horror, his body writhing as if in pain. Sarah seized her chance and ran as fast as she could, not daring to look back. When she reached the village, she collapsed on the ground, exhausted and terrified. The villagers gathered around her, listening in horror as she recounted her tale. From that day forward, the villagers stayed away from the woods, and the legend of the witch's spell lived on. Some say that Jack roams the forest, searching for his next victim, while others believe the witch still casts her dark spells from her hidden lair. But one thing is sure, the forest holds many secrets, and those who dare to explore it do so at their peril. The witch's spell may be powerful, but it is not invincible, and those brave enough to stand up to her may find a way to break her curse once and for all.